Is remaking Persona 1 and 2 a good idea? Well, I have sort of a interesting take on the situation. Although I would love to see Persona 1 and 2 remade, is it all in all a good idea? I don't really know how it would turn out. Because on one hand, you could have Persona 5 like graphics on Persona 1 and 2 at the cost of the original intent of the game being lost within different developers working on it. The issue stems from Persona 1 and 2 releasing in the 90s, in which most of the stuff that worked on Persona 1 and 2 probably don't work for the company anymore or are on their way out. So the original intent of Persona 1 and 2, like social links they may try to add, for instance, really wouldn't fit within Persona 1 and 2 with how drastically different their stories are. I have not played Persona 2 very much quite yet, but Persona 1, I did quite honestly enjoy the story from what I played. But Persona 1 is also a really crappily designed game, which in the gameplay aspect of Persona 1, that game definitely could use a remake. I definitely probably would not like older Megami Tensei games because first person view, no difference in location and it just being all hell confusing to navigate, let alone you even using a guide barely exists online. And if you're finding a guide, it's from the 90s, in which I was stuck in this stupid maze area and I had to go down a few select holes from a crappily designed walkthrough from the 90s that just made my experience really irritable, and I just rage quit the game. I will not go back to it. So you're seeing footage from that stream where I got stuck, and you can say how bad I am at the game and so on. I don't care. I can only speak on from what the story that I played, and I thought the story was pretty interesting and it was gonna go somewhere, but I got stuck, and I will never pick up that game again. Persona 2, on the other hand, could use at the very least a remaster, but I'm sure that people would love to see this game remade. And honestly, I would too, because of how that PSP port with Persona 3 came out. I do not trust Atlus to make a faithful remaster of Persona 2, let alone Eternal Punishment along with it. Which, if you were to try to find Persona 2 for the PS1, that thing costs like $600. I literally went to a convention recently and I thought I was misreading the price, so I went back to it and it was straight up $600 Canadian. Now, USD, the conversion rate and so on, you know, it's a little different, but you get what I'm saying here. That's a steep price to be paying for the PS1 version of the game, and I don't even know how much the PSP versions are, but I can just imagine they're just as bad. I would say, at the very least, they should remaster it, but very faithfully. I think lots of people would be very thankful for Persona 2 to be remastered very faithfully and nothing like cut in terms of corners to make the visuals suck even more than what they were on the PSP, or make the audio very compressed and whatever the hell Persona 3 Portable did with its all platforms port, which of course there are mods to fix this and kind of write it, but you need a PC to fix it or mod it, so there you go, playing it on all the other platforms besides a Steam Deck or a PC, and you're playing the worst version comparatively to a modded version that runs 10 times better. And of course you have the emulation routes that you can take, but I'm just saying of the official ways and what Atlus could do to make the game more readily available to people so it's not so overpriced, because I'm not paying John 650 smackaroos for Persona 2 or whatever the PSP cost is, because it doesn't even show money to Atlus at this point. But honestly, Atlus might not even think to remake or remaster these games because they're so content with Persona 3, 4, and 5, and potentially 6 in the near future, that they're not even thinking that they can even remotely get a profit off of Persona 1 and 2, because they probably didn't when they initially sold it on the PSP, as the remake was, so to speak, or I don't know, downmake? Because that's what the PSP kind of was doing to some games. So all in all, I don't know if it's a good idea for Atlus to touch Persona 1 and 2 to give the game a bad rap if they do intend to remaster it. If they have the original source code and everything, cool, but if they're gonna do whatever they did with Persona 3 Portable, oh god, oh no. But then you have the potential of the remake not keeping the original intent of the story or what made Persona 1 and 2 great. Instead, we have, social links all over the place with each character where it doesn't make any sense to really have them because it doesn't fall in line with the other Persona games where there's two different worlds or whatever. They end up just getting combined into one in Persona 1 and 2. At least I think that's what happens in 2. Correct me in the comments, but I just don't see that happening. So if they were to remake it, I would really hope they kept the original intent of everything within the grand scheme of things and adding more content and so on. So with that all being said, thank you guys so much for watching the video all the way through. I know I didn't play these games all the way through, and my, I guess, perspective is a little skewed in that sense of, not giving my initial playthrough on the original platforms it released in, well, besides Persona 1, but mainly Persona 2. So if you've played Persona 1 and 2 on the initial hardware, whether it was on the PS1 or PSP, please put what you think in the comments down below. I'm actually curious to what a veteran's perspective is within the Persona series to just give me, some more food for thought and how it could be a good idea for Atlus to do this. But you're probably still on the same board as me that's like, Atlus might just pull an Atlus again, as per usual. So with that all being said, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.